Peace. Brother Stephen X here, peace. Respect Ring Media. I hope all is well with you today. Just chiming in, a lot of boxing was consumed today. Just wanted to get back on the mic. You know, what is today? Let's see. Oh, okay. So we got some fights this weekend, but today's Friday. But I wanted to chime in. I just finished reading an article here on Ring on Ryan Garcia, and I saw some stuff posted on their Ring Twitter page about him and a comment he made about Oscar De La Hoya in their feud. This article is by Manuk Akopian. Ryan Garcia opens up about renewed feud with Golden Boy. There is no loyalty, respect, trust, or belief. Speaking of respect, Ryan Garcia wanting respect from Oscar De La Hoya. Um, that's you know this is someone who showed disrespect to the sport first and foremost, and to by drug cheating Devin Haney. That's let's start there. So one thing I learned is the golden rule, they call it. Treat others the way you want to be treated. So, I mean, if you're disrespecting the sport, don't be surprised if the sport disrespects you back. In this case, Oscar De La Hoya. And I was listening to Art Man the Great. He did a live earlier today. And I remember I wrote in the comment section, the chat, saying Oscar and Ryan are feuding again. And I remember Art Man saying, of course they are. And this is what really inspired me to get on the mic, because he had broken down really well. Just listen to his broadcast. He broke down really well how Oscar. Where's this quote by Ryan? Hold on one second. Let me just read this quote from Ryan first to set this up. So Ryan told Ring, Oscar doesn't respect me. I don't think he ever thought I was a good fighter. But frankly, I don't care. I have one more fight left with him, and that's it. If they can build another star, great. I want to move on. Ryan Garcia on his relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, okay, so let's start. I don't know about the whole 1 year thing, if that's true or not. It says here in the article, Garcia berated De La Hoya and Golden Boy on social media. The incident made De La Hoya post a screenshot of an explicit-laden text message he received from Garcia, while labeling it another episode and insinuating that the fighter has bipolar disorder. Okay, well. Yeah, so just circling back to what I was saying before with Artman. He was breaking down how a guy like Oscar De La Hoya is not going to respect Ryan Garcia because, he didn't want him to fight Tank, but he surprised Oscar, and the B-Hop were probably surprised. I'm sorry, that was Tank. He didn't want him to fight Tank, right? I know Oscar De La Hoya didn't want him to fight Tank, and he was disappointed after he had lost to Tank in the way that he lost it. And then that's why you didn't see B-Hop and Oscar at the post-fight press conference. And in this article I read, and from Ring, the author says that Ryan says that Tank's team at the PBC and showed him more attention than Oscar De La Hoya and B-Hop. I remember Oscar De La Hoya said there was security threats against their lives. They had to get out of there. We all remember this. So anyway, this whole situation, these two guys are a mess. I feel like we've seen this movie before with them feuding, and just Ryan Garcia speaking about respect. It's got my brain I'm really trying to wrap my head around someone that's a racist and a drug cheat demanding respect from others. In what world does that work? Right? So we go from the Tank fight. Now it's Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, April 20th last year. right? I'm pretty sure Oscar, obviously, he thinks his fighter's gonna win, but he know Devin Haney's no joke, right? But I don't think Oscar knows that Ryan is juiced up, but I do think he knew about this whole coming in overweight thing. That he didn't care about that. And then he also says he doesn't care about drug cheating. He said that on Shannon Sharp's show that he didn't care if Ryan Garcia was on PEDs when he beat Devin Haney. Right. So now Ryan beats Devin Haney. He's in love with him again. They abandoned him when he lost. And then remember, right after the Tank, he had a fight with Duarte. And they were beefing then. Right? This is a soap opera drama going on here. Now we move on to after Duarte to Devin. Right? And remember, he didn't want to fight Devin. He's made some comment. He got convinced by Mayweather to fight Rolly, and then that didn't go through. Rolly said F y'all. And then he had to circle back to Devin. I mean, this whole Golden Boy organization and team, and in relation to Ryan Garcia, Oscar De La, it's just poor management. When you see all those, like, that's poor management, and a fighter not having, because he's so dishonest. I mean, what weight class do you fight at? Okay, 147. Well, you just took a loss to Rolando Rolly Romero, 147. So are you going down to 140, but you never were loyal to 140 because you cheated Devin at 140 by coming in 3.2 pounds overweight? Cheated the weight. Said Floyd Mayweather told him to cheat the weight. That's a whole nother broadcast. For a Floyd Mayweather to tell a young fighter, in this case Ryan Garcia, to cheat a young man that he knows his father, to cheat him by cheating him on weight. I can never forgive that. Right? I still appreciate Floyd in the ring. Outside the ring, no. Outside the stuff like that, so much so that he didn't want to speak about it when asked about it on Cam and Mace's show. It is what it is. He said, well, we don't want to get any lawsuits. We don't. So he just bypassed the whole question about how he's involved in the situation with the drug cheating. Right? So there's just no consequences. There's no consequences. Like, cheating in boxing must have a cost to it. There has to be a price to pay. Cheating in boxing must have a cost. $1.1 million out of all the money you and Devin made is nothing. Went back to Golden Boy. Golden Boy probably gave it back to you already. Right? Suspended for a year. Y'all only fight 1 to 2 times a year anyway. You got a vacation with money. You're good. And then all these fake fans, these fake boxing fans, a lot of them are bots, by the way. They're not even real people. That's a whole nother topic. His fans supporting drug cheating in boxing. Couch potatoes that don't even work out. And bots. Right? Cheering a drug cheating fighter because he beat an elite black fighter in Devin Haney. Racism, always in play. In America, it's always at play. And it's in boxing. I, as a black man, has to speak on it. So somebody will hear this message and be like, yeah, I agree. What are we going to do about it? Because cheating in boxing does not have a cost. Or, okay, the cost is 1.1 million. And then you have to do a clean drug test before you can fight again in a year. And then we see in your first fight back, you get dropped by Romero Rolly in the second round because you're standing straight up, right? No levels. And we've seen you off the PEDs. What happened to the twitchiness and the pop on the left hook and faster? What happened to all that? How fast you were. The Ostarine made you against Devin. We can clearly see that PEDs in boxing have an effect on performance. It enhances the fighter. It weaponizes their body. It weaponizes their body. You cannot have Ostarine or whatever it is in the sport of boxing. I would encourage anybody I spoke about the brother with the petition. I heard Queen Sugar Free Mars. Go subscribe to her channel, Queen Sugar Free Mars. Love her commentary. Love her principled stance and her love for the sport of boxing. Her love for her people, our people. And really just a beautiful queen inside and out. Yeah, she had tweeted something about starting up a petition. I think I remember retweeting it. Like, if it's easy, we can go to change.org. Somebody needs to work on it, and that's somebody. I might be talking to myself, who knows, but I'm just getting the hang of this YouTube thing and getting my message out for now. But yeah, that's I'm only speaking about Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy and the whole drug cheating Devin. You can replace Ryan Garcia with some other fighter. The point is, there's a problem in the sport of boxing with drugs, performance enhancing drugs, and fighters. The incentive structure is, let me get my victory and I'll deal with these consequences later. And who knows, I might even pass this test. But even if I don't pass it, well, I get suspended. At least I beat that guy and I got my money. Because I can get another fight, but if I lose a fight, it brings down my value. And that's the nature of this whole beef between these two guys. He lost more value when he lost to Rolly Romero, and they gave him an offer that he didn't like, and this whole feud is about money, right? So I mean, I don't care about it. That's their business. I'm only talking about it because Ring is talking about it, and also because anything that affects Devin Haney's world, Brian Norman Jr. is on Devin's radar, but let's be honest, Ryan Garcia is still number 10 on the hit list. He's still number 10 on the hit list. So if I hear any interesting news, not gossip, and about Ryan Garcia, who is a rival or was a rival or is a rival of Devin Haney, I'm going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That was it. Rolando Rolly Romero was elevated today to the 140. He's the 147 champ. WBA, because Jerome Boots Ennis left the IBF. He vacated the IBF and the WBA. So now Rolly is the champion at one WBA champion at 147. Before it was Jerome Boots Ennis. So Rolly is one of the players at 147. Rolly Romero's on the hit list. So we might have to have a discussion after Brian Norman Jr. about Rolly, because Devin's back on his belt-ish. He's back on his belt quest. Anyone with a belt, he needs to fight. So Rolly has a belt. Devin's not going to fight him now. But we need to talk about Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero after Devin beats Brian Norman Jr. Or if he beats Brian Norman Jr. Y'all know who I rock with over here. So, but let's be a little objective. Yeah. So that's news. So that's a belt that was emailed to him. He's the new email champ at 147, quote unquote email champ. He's gonna have to defend that belt. So Devin's hit list is looking realistic, and we know his excellency Turkey Al Sheikh can make it happen. That debate is out of the window. Turkey can make Devin's 10 names all a reality, except for Teofimo Lopez, because Turkey don't mess with anyone. He said it that talks about religion, or did he mention race? I think he mentioned race too. Um, or anyone that disrespects his religion, which is Islam. So Tio will not be working, or I should say, Turkey will never work with Tio. So Devin may have to find a new name in that spot. I know Ritual. It could be Richard Hitchison, because Richard Hitchison is an honorary member, the 11th member, so he can replace Tio. Because Tio, well, that fight's not happening, and Devin's working with Turkey now. Devin has DHP, Devin Haney Promotions, but he's doing business with Turkey. Turkey's, writing the checks. So to him, but Devin is independent. And Bill Haney is independent, and his promoter and his father. So folks, yeah, it's this cheating in boxing is just, Turkey's the man. Turkey's the man, because this is Vada. He works with Vada. Vada is involved in these Riyadh season cards. So, we're rocking with Vada. We're rocking with WADA. WADA does the actual testing of VADA. The Voluntary Anti-Doping Association is just helping facilitate it and collect the samples and get the athletes to mail it off to Utah. Right. The scientists in Utah at WADA, the World Anti-Doping Association, that are doing these tests. Victor Conte has no connections to WADA or VADA. No connections. Today, no connections. None. So these conspiracy theories that Ryan Garcia came up with in the build up to their fight against Devin Haney, that hurt the promotion of the fight. It added a bunch of crazy stuff into it, racism and crazy conspiracy theories that he no longer talks about. I mean, it's just, the only way, if he's not going to get out the sport, because he's talking about fighting this guy and that guy, Manny Pacquiao and Teofimo Lopez, and go to a ring and read the article if you want. But, we've heard this before. But it's like, should he even be in the sport? Like, it's like, this is like a normalizing of Ryan Garcia and people like him. Fighters, what do I mean by people like him? Other drug cheats. Just normal, like everybody forgot what they did. We're just going to forget about the racism. We're going to forget about all the derogatory things he said about people that did nothing to him. George Floyd did nothing to him, and he made that comment, which I'm not repeating. Cheating in boxing must have a cost. What cost did he pay? So, I mean, you can already say he probably did. The cost was he lost to Rolly and got dropped. You lost. And now your promoter doesn't really want to mess with you anymore. He wasn't happy with you trying to chase Tank because he knew you were going to lose with the rehydration clause and everything. He's like, he used to be a fighter. And deep down inside of him, he says he doesn't care if you're on drugs. But I don't know how a fighter like Oscar De La Hoya can say that. Like, sincerely, like, you were drug cheated before by Shane Mosley. So how do you have how are you cool with drug cheating? You've never tested positive for drugs. You fought your career clean. I mean, you may have had other issues, alcohol and those kind of drugs, but performance enhancing drugs, Oscar De La Hoya has never popped dirty for that. He was a clean fighter. Never heard his name attached to that. He was a clean fighter. So how does a clean fighter and a man as accomplished as he is in the sport of boxing as a fighter, and he has his golden boy as well. How do you how are you okay deep down inside of you with a drug cheating fighter? So these are, anyways, I'm tired of talking about those two. I only covered this because, like I said, Ring's covering it, and anything in Devin's orbit, I'm gonna try to see, and sometimes we got to remind ourselves about what this guy did. We always have to remind. I'm gonna get on the mic and remind folks, hey, this guy's a drug cheat. Hey, this guy's a racist. Hey, this guy shouldn't be in the sport of boxing at all. He doesn't respect it. He disrespects it with his racism and his drug cheating. And over here we rock with respect ring media. Right. So anyways, shout out to Artman the Great, who inspired this when he broke down how, of course, Oscar doesn't mess with a drug cheat. He doesn't want to mess with a drug cheat that lost to Rolly Romero. So he lost to Rolly Romero, who's associated with Mayweather. So it probably back that, associated in a sense PBC. And so it brought back bad memories for him. So he probably doesn't want to mess with this guy. But shout out to Devin Haney. He's training. Seen him running. Brian Norman Jr. looks like he's back stateside. Saw him. It looks like he's back in the ring, and he's also doing a press tour and doing speeches. So both fighters are preparing for November 22nd. That's exciting. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. Just wanted to give a lay of the land at 147. We have a new champ, Rolly Romero at 147. So we need to have a conversation after Devin's fight against Brian Norma about Rolly, who I think does not want to fight Devin right now. Rolly don't want to fight Devin at all. But Devin and Turkey can make anyone come to the table. So let me leave it there. You can check out respectringmedia.com. That's where I write my articles, and my contact information is there. Go ahead and check out me on X, Twitter, at respectringnews. Respectringmedia is the entity. On my website, there's like different stuff there. Different tabs, so it's not just articles. So you can check out if you want more information about who I'm affiliated with and how we work together on this whole boxing entertainment space. Check it out there. My email is respectringmedia@gmail.com. If you want to support the work in any way, Cash App, $ respect ring media. Yeah, so just don't be afraid. Send me an article. I can post it on the website. Send me questions, comments, feedback. Anything is great. This is the sport we love. So I feel like I don't want to go on too long with these broadcasts. There's always another time where I can share more, but yeah, let's make cheating in boxing have a cost. All right. So Stephen X, I'm out for now. Peace and blessings. Thank you.